Hey guys, imagine a car where the door handles are almost at floor height, right at knee level, and the glove compartment barely fits a credit card. And here's the kicker, the cup holder isn't next to the seat, it's tucked right behind you. Weird, isn't it? Today, we're introducing you to one of the most luxurious and expensive cars of the past 50 years, Lamborghini. And when you talk about this legendary brand, you can't skip its creator, the Italian industrialist and entrepreneur, Ferruccio Lamborghini. As it often goes, Ferruccio was born in 1916 into a humble farming family. From a young age, his father instilled in him the value of hard work on the farm and a fascination with machines. Whenever something broke, whether it was a grain crusher or a hand tool, Ferruccio was always there, helping to fix it. By the time he was 12, it was obvious he had a deep curiosity for tiny metal parts and was constantly tinkering. Seeing his son's passion, his father set up a small workshop in the yard, equipped with all the tools he might need. It was there that Ferruccio began crafting parts for farm machinery with his own hands, taking the first steps toward his future as a brilliant engineer. One ordinary day, Ferruccio was working in his little workshop, as he always did. While casting a part, a spark accidentally landed on the wooden floor, and it instantly caught fire. Fortunately, his father was nearby and reacted quickly, preventing a major fire on the farm. Instead of being discouraged, this incident only deepened Ferruccio's passion for his craft. After finishing school, he enrolled in a technical university where he quickly mastered casting and welding techniques. Once he earned his professional license, he immediately joined a local forge. By 1932, he became an apprentice under the blacksmith Geferioli. After 2 years of hands-on experience, in 1934 he moved to a workshop in Bologna, taking on orders for the military. It's worth emphasizing that Ferruccio was completely devoted to his work. The job didn't just bring him a modest income, it gave him real joy, and that perhaps was the most important thing. This genuine love for what he did would later lay the groundwork for his remarkable career. A year later, after gaining valuable connections and further honing his blacksmithing skills, Ferruccio returned to his hometown of Cento. There, together with his friend Marino Filippini, he opened their very own workshop. At the time, they were only 19 years old. However, their collaboration didn't last long. In 1939, both were drafted into the army. For the next 4 years, Ferruccio was responsible for servicing military equipment, both domestic and imported. This experience proved invaluable. He learned skills that no classroom could ever teach and acquired knowledge that would later be crucial in his life. In 1943, the island of Rhodes, where Ferruccio was stationed, was captured by the Germans. When they discovered he was the head of the workshop and personal mechanic to the top command, they presented him with a choice: prison and death, or the role of chief mechanic repairing German machinery. Ferruccio chose to work, taking the risk while continuing to hone his abilities. Even after the war, when the island came under British control, Ferruccio remained on Rhodes until 1946, applying everything he had learned in the military to peaceful life. Back in his hometown of Cento, he immediately threw himself into work. Orders kept coming in one after another. By the end of 1947, there wasn't a single farm machine in town that Ferruccio hadn't personally repaired or improved. Seeing that his skills and hard work were in high demand, Ferruccio gathered all his savings and borrowed part of the money from his parents. In 1948, he founded Lamborghini Trattori S.p.A., dedicating himself fully to creating machines that would make the tough work of local farmers much easier. Amazingly, in just 1 year, Ferruccio managed to create the company's very first vehicle. The first tractor, released in 1949, was powered by an engine from a military truck, while Ferruccio personally designed the fuel tank with an evaporator. Nearly all the other parts were either redesigned or adapted to suit his ideas. He offered these first tractors to local farmers, and they were so impressed that within a few months they ordered about a dozen more. Just a year later, demand had grown so rapidly that the company could barely keep up. Naturally, Ferruccio knew that the business had to grow. He didn't have enough workers, the workshop was too small, and most importantly, there weren't enough parts to keep up with demand. By that time, he was 35 years old and had made a firm decision. He would dedicate his life entirely to building machinery. Taking a bold step, Ferruccio arranged a loan through his father, putting all the family assets, the farm and the tractor workshop, up as collateral. It was a huge risk, but he trusted his own abilities. With the money, he bought 1,000 new engines from the Morris Company for his tractors. In the first year, the company sold about 50 tractors, and by the following year, sales had jumped to 250. Lamborghini tractors quickly won over customers thanks to their affordable price, simple design, and ease of maintenance. Even a young farmer could fix one on their own. The company was growing fast. In post-war Italy, working the land was almost the only way to survive. Each year, the number of employees increased, and the equipment was updated almost every 2 years, becoming more modern and reliable. By 1960, Ferruccio was successfully running the tractor business, but he realized it was time to expand further. That's when he founded another enterprise, Lamborghini Bruciatori, which focused on designing boilers, heating and cooling systems, and providing maintenance. Thanks to this, Italy gradually shifted from coal heating to gas. Revenue from both companies was significant, and thanks to the combined efforts of the entire team, Italy's post-war economy began to recover. And now, friends, we come to the key moment. How did Ferruccio decide to venture into car manufacturing? The answer is actually quite simple. Even though he was deeply involved in the tractor business, Ferruccio's heart always belonged to automobiles. He constantly modified his own cars, adding his personal engineering touches and improvements. The first car that ended up in Ferruccio's hands was a Fiat 500 Topolino. Yet, his true passion was always sports cars. The very first one was an Alfa Romeo 1900 Sprint. In 1955, he took the plunge and bought a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL, but quickly got disappointed and sold it. According to Ferruccio himself, the reason he kept changing cars was all the little flaws that only showed up during real driving. And it didn't matter if it was a Ferrari or a Maserati. Throughout his life, he had several Maserati 3500 GTs and E-types, but what he loved most was his Ferrari 250 GT in all its different versions. It became his ultimate obsession. It was actually Ferruccio's experience owning a Ferrari that pushed him to create his very first car. One memorable day, according to his son who later told the story, Ferruccio went to Enzo Ferrari's factory to complain about the clutch in his Ferrari 250 GT. He just wanted to talk, maybe even give a tip to help fix the issue. But to his surprise, the hot-tempered Enzo sent him away, telling him to stick to your tractors, and even calling him a provincial farmer, because, as he said, Lamborghini knew nothing about sports cars. Hurt and angry, Ferruccio returned to his own workshop. Together with the chief mechanic, he took apart the transmission of his Ferrari and realized that many of the parts were made by the same supplier as those for Lamborghini tractors. He found the right replacements from his own stock, reassembled everything, and solved the problem. It was at that very moment that Ferruccio made a promise to himself. One day, I'll teach Enzo Ferrari a lesson. and Enzo had no idea just how far Lamborghini was willing to go to make that happen. Fueled by the idea of creating his own sports car, Ferruccio quickly figured out what it needed to be. The engine was developed by Giotto Bizzarini, who had previously worked at Ferrari. The clutch was modeled after a tractor, and designer Franco Scaglione helped bring the body design to life. In 1963, Ferruccio founded yet another company, Automobili Ferruccio Lamborghini, this time fully focused on cars. The first car, the Lamborghini 350 GTV, made its debut at the Turin Motor Show that same year, causing a sensation among visitors. Ferruccio immediately made it clear, this car wasn't built for racing. It was designed for pure driving pleasure and enjoyment behind the wheel. When it was first unveiled, the car was only partially ready. By May 1964, after receiving several dozen orders, Ferruccio refined the design and full-scale production began. At the next Turin Motor Show, the B400 model was presented. However, Ferruccio wasn't fully satisfied, and by 1966 he had improved it, releasing a new version called the Miura. The success exceeded all expectations. Within just a few years, 764 units were sold. At that time, each car cost at least $20,000, instantly placing it in the luxury segment. Even such a high price didn't stop true speed enthusiasts. Lamborghini quickly overtook Ferrari, leaving its rival far behind. With this success, Lamborghini's lineup continued to expand. In the early 1970s, models like the Islero S and Jarama 400 GT appeared, the latter known in select circles as Ferruccio's personal Rolls-Royce. Off-road models were also added, including the Cheetah, developed primarily for the US Armed Forces. Another breakthrough was the Lamborghini Countach, featuring a unique design and scissor-style doors. This supercar could accelerate up to 300 kilometers per hour and became the first of its kind to enter the Guinness Book of Records. Production of the Countach continued until 1990, cementing Lamborghini's reputation as one of the world's most renowned supercar manufacturers. In 1979, a more advanced version, the Countach LP 400S, was released, boasting 455 horsepower and, for the first time in the brand's history, a 4-valve engine. Unexpectedly, Ferruccio decided to step down as company head. A company celebrated not only for supercars, but also for tractor engineering. The reason was the cancellation of a contract for supplying agricultural machinery to South America, which he saw as a potential crisis. Already in 1972, he had sold part of his shares to René Leimer and Georges André, and the 1973 oil crisis further validated his decision. Tractor production gradually passed into the hands of the Italian corporation Sam Deutz Fahr. By 1974, Ferruccio had sold all his shares and used the proceeds to purchase a villa in Castellone del Lambe, where he began cultivating vineyards and producing wine, enjoying a calm and measured lifestyle. But even during this time, Ferruccio's love for cars never faded. He made vehicles for golf courses and even once personally assembled a car for Pope John Paul II. After Ferruccio Lamborghini stepped down from running the company, several new models were released that quickly became iconic among car enthusiasts. These included the updated Countach LP 400 with 375 horsepower and the Silhouette, a 2-seater Targa roof coupe. Yet, despite these new additions, Lamborghini continued to face financial difficulties. Problems with roads, declining demand, and interruptions in the supply of parts took a serious toll on the company. What initially seemed like minor setbacks escalated into a major crisis, and in 1978, Lamborghini declared bankruptcy. The company's shares were put up for sale and were purchased by the Mimran brothers. A few years later, Lamborghini came under the ownership of the Chrysler Corporation, which released an upgraded Countach model called the Diablo. However, even this legendary car could not fully stabilize the company's financial situation, leaving Lamborghini still struggling to survive. Then Lamborghini changed hands again. This time, all shares were acquired by the large Indonesian investment group Megatech, and Tommy Suharto was appointed CEO. Yet he was unable to create anything truly progressive, and the company's debts only grew. Under pressure from competitors, in 1998, Lamborghini changed owners once more. The controlling stake was acquired by Audi AG. Audi was the one able to organize production efficiently and revamp the car designs, making them more modern, stylish, and versatile. Thanks to Audi's investments, Lamborghini remains a worldwide symbol of luxury lifestyle. Each car is made with exclusive components and a unique design that captivates thousands of buyers across the globe. In 2001, Lamborghini launched a new model, the Murcielago, with 400 units sold. That same year, the Lamborghini History Museum was officially opened and continues to operate today. Visitors can learn about the brand's history and even sit in any iconic car that left a mark in the supercar world. 10 years later, the lineup grew with the Lamborghini Aventador, which could accelerate to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. In 2014, the Huracan joined the collection, winning even more fans of speed. Then in 2017, Lamborghini introduced its first SUV, the Urus, notable for its larger size and vibrant color options. Lamborghini cars can be seen all over the world. In the United Arab Emirates, they patrol the streets. In Italy, they are used for the rapid transport of donor organs, and the most unique models are displayed in St. Peter's Square in the Vatican, showcasing the brand's prestige and exclusivity. Police often use smaller cars, more similar to a Golf-class Lamborghini, to chase potential criminals. In crowded tourist areas, such cars are much more practical and maneuverable than a supercar. To this day, the Lamborghini logo has remained unchanged. The golden color of the emblem, used since 1963, symbolizes the brand's greatness and rich traditions. Few know why Ferruccio chose this particular symbol. The bull on the logo was not random. Ferruccio was a Taurus by zodiac sign and believed that this influence helped shape his character and achieve success. He always pushed forward, even where it seemed all doors were closed. Interestingly, in just 9 years of running the company, Ferruccio managed to change the automotive world, integrating knowledge from tractor manufacturing into sports cars and completely redefining what a car could be. Ferruccio Lamborghini achieved almost all his dreams. He aimed to surpass Enzo Ferrari, and he did. He even wanted to outlive his rival. When Enzo passed away at 90, Ferruccio firmly decided to reach 91, to beat him even in that. But life had other plans. On February 20th, 1993, Ferruccio Lamborghini passed away at the age of 76, leaving an indelible mark in automotive history. Since the release of the first Lamborghini car, a total of 23 different models have been produced, including the latest ones. For example, the Aventador Miura was released in a limited edition of just 50 cars. For true enthusiasts, this proved to be a very profitable investment. The value of the car increases by several million each year. Even sitting quietly in the cabin, you can almost feel the car appreciating right before your eyes. From the very start, Ferruccio Lamborghini set a rule. His cars were not made for racing. During his leadership, the company did not produce sports cars. Later, under Rossetti, Lamborghini teamed up with BMW to develop a racing car. However, Lamborghini could not complete its part, and the project was fully handled by BMW's motorsport division, resulting in the BMW M1. In 1986, Lamborghini built the QVX for Group C racing. The car was constructed, but sponsorship issues forced them to skip the season. The QVX competed in only one non-championship race at the Kyalami circuit in Johannesburg, driven by Tiff Needell. Despite showing good performance, the project's funding was discontinued. Between 1989 and 1993, Lamborghini supplied V12 engines for Formula One cars, showcasing its engineering expertise and reinforcing the brand's status among the world's fastest and most prestigious vehicles. In 1991, Lamborghini fielded its very own racing team for the first time, which lasted only a single season. Then, in 2014, a Staffordshire student named Mark Hostler founded Lamborghini Ferruccio in honor of Ferruccio Lamborghini, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the legendary brand. This is the incredible world of these dazzling, ultra-cool cars, the world of Lamborghini sports cars, started by an ordinary farmer's son who later became a tractor manufacturer. It's hard to believe, but if it weren't for Enzo Ferrari's sharp words and the clutch problems in Ferruccio's car, we might never have seen these vehicles, which today symbolize luxury, success, and beauty. And, as always, it's important to remember, all great things start small. Whether it's a simple desire to create something with your own hands, or just a casually spoken remark. That's it for today, friends. Share your thoughts in the comments, rate the video, and see you next time.